All right, so welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be,
Oh, this can be a good one.
yeah, this is pretty crazy. So we're looking at this article from the Daily Beast
Right.
called Fore, Central Park 5 Tee-Off on Trump.
Wow.
It was published yesterday, October 21st. And it's just wild, like,
It's really
with
something.
the election just 15 days away.
I know.
It's
hard to believe.
I know, and this article is throwing some serious curveballs into the race. So we're going to unpack some of the key events and
Absolutely.
what they might mean for this election.
Yeah, it really does capture the chaotic energy of this whole election cycle.
Yeah.
We've got lawsuits and, unusual alliances and some
Yeah, some pretty bizarre moments all
really bizarre.
happening in these last few days.
It's crazy.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this lawsuit from the Central Park 5 against Donald Trump
Right.
stems from some pretty shocking statements he made during the September debate.
Oh, yeah, he really...
What was he thinking?
I know. Those comments during that debate, they brought back this decades-old controversy.
Right.
And not in a factual way at all. He actually incorrectly stated that the 5 men had pled guilty
Yeah.
to the 1989 assault.
Which we know is not true.
Right. And even more concerning, he went on to say that they killed someone,
Yeah.
which was never even part of the original case.
Right.
Unbelievable.
It was never even alleged. And this feels particularly significant because their convictions were overturned years ago based on DNA evidence and a confession from the actual perpetrator.
Right.
So it makes you wonder if this lawsuit is even more than just defamation. Like,
Yeah.
it's about holding a presidential candidate accountable
Absolutely.
for spreading misinformation.
I think it raises some huge questions about the role of truth and accountability
Exactly.
in our political discourse today.
Especially with how fast information and misinformation can spread online.
Oh, yeah.
This case could really resonate with voters who are concerned about the integrity of our elections and the spread of falsehoods.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how much this impacts voters in these final days.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, so let's shift gears
Yeah.
to something else that really surprised me.
Okay.
So Liz Cheney,
Wait.
a prominent Republican and typically, pro-life,
Yeah.
is now openly supporting Kamala Harris's plan
Wow.
to expand abortion access.
That is a major move,
Yeah.
especially from someone like Cheney,
Right.
who has built her entire political career
Yeah.
on these conservative values.
Exactly.
And what's really striking is her reasoning.
Yeah.
She's deeply concerned about the impact of these state-level abortion bans that have
Mhm.
come after the Dobbs decision.
Okay.
She's even said that this is unsustainable for the country.
You don't often see this kind of collaboration across party lines,
No.
especially on such a
Contentious.
contentious issue. It makes you realize how much the political landscape is shifting,
Yeah.
especially on this topic.
This alliance could be a real game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, Cheney. With her conservative background,
Right.
campaigning alongside Harris,
Yeah.
in these key battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin.
These are make or break states.
Yeah, and it's a really smart move.
Yeah.
It could definitely sway some moderate voters,
Right.
especially women in those suburban areas who might be feeling conflicted about this whole thing.
Totally. And speaking of battleground states,
Okay.
the latest Washington Post-Char School poll
Oh,
paints a very interesting picture
good.
of the race itself.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so this poll focused on 7 crucial battleground states.
Okay.
It shows that Trump and Harris are deadlocked
What?
at 47%.
No way.
Among registered voters, a complete tie.
Wow, so it's really down to the wire.
It is. This poll confirms just how unpredictable this election is.
Totally.
And there's another layer to this. Harris is actually polling significantly better
Oh, really?
than Biden did at this point in 2020.
Interesting.
Her support has surged by 6 percentage points compared to Biden's numbers, which indicates maybe a potential shift in voter sentiment.
Possibly? Yeah.
It could be a reflection of Harris's own strengths as a candidate,
Right.
or maybe a growing dissatisfaction with the previous administration.
Yeah, it could be either one.
Either way, it's something to think about.
Definitely.
It seems like every single vote is going to count
Well, I know.
in this election. And speaking of things that can sway voters,
Yes.
Mel Brooks
Oh, yeah.
and his very public endorsement of Harris.
He's such a legend.
I know, back in September, he went on X, formerly Twitter,
Right.
to announce his support. He even wore a White Dudes for Harris hat,
That's great.
which follows his 2020 endorsement of Biden,
I remember that.
where he was very critical of Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a good reminder that celebrity endorsements still hold power.
They do.
They might not single-handedly win elections, but they definitely get people talking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can mobilize certain voter blocks.
Right. It's all about visibility these days.
Yeah.
And Mel Brooks, with his comedic legacy and charm,
Oh, yeah.
definitely brings that to the table for Harris.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we do need to address the elephant in the room.
Okay, here we go.
Or maybe we should say the Arnold Palmer in the room.
Well, let's talk about Trump's comments about the late golfer Arnold Palmer.
This should be good.
At a recent rally in Palmer's hometown,
Right.
Trump decided to share his thoughts on the size of Palmer's.
What?
Well, anatomy.
Oh, my God.
It was an odd moment.
Even for Trump, that was strange.
And what's even more strange is that this wasn't an isolated incident.
Really?
Maggie Haberman's book, Confidence Man, talks about a similar instance
Oh, wow.
where Trump shared this information
Uh-oh.
with guests in the Oval Office back in 2020.
Seriously?
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what does it say about a candidate's judgment
Right.
when they repeatedly engage in this kind of behavior?
Especially when they're running for the highest office in the country.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
makes you really pause and consider what this might reflect about their character.
It really plays into this whole theme of personal conduct and past behavior influencing voters.
Yeah, it's a big one. So we've covered a lot already, from lawsuits and shifting political alliances to a neck-and-neck race and
Yeah.
even these eyebrow-raising comments from a presidential candidate.
It's a lot. These events are really threads woven into this complex and often contradictory tapestry of this election. We're seeing the impact of misinformation.
Sure.
The evolving landscape of these social issues, the power of endorsements,
It's a lot.
and the scrutiny of personal conduct all playing out in real time.
It is like we're watching a political thriller unfold
I know, it's crazy.
in real time.
It's wild.
So much is at stake, and I think it's really important for us to talk about why all of this matters to our listener.
Absolutely. We can't forget about that.
Yeah.
It's easy to just get caught up in the drama of it all.
Right.
But we need to step back for a second and understand the bigger picture. These decisions that are being made right now, they're going to have ripple effects
Yeah.
for years to come.
This isn't just about picking a president.
Right.
It's about shaping the future of the country.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for every single person who can vote to be informed
Yeah.
and engaged. You know, this election, maybe more than any other that we've seen recently, hinges on this small number of undecided voters
Right.
in just a few key states.
So every vote really does count.
It really does.
Oh.
And it's not even just about voting on Election Day.
Yeah.
You know, it's about actually understanding the issues and critically thinking about the candidates
Yeah.
and having those sometimes hard conversations with your friends and family.
Exactly.
It's about participating in our democracy in a meaningful way
Yes.
and holding our elected officials accountable
Right.
for what they say and what they do. We've seen how things from the past can come back
Right.
and impact an election. And that just shows how important transparency and integrity are.
Totally. So as we head into these final days,
Yeah.
what should our listeners be paying attention to?
That's a good question.
What could actually tip the scales one way or the other?
Well, like we said, those battleground states are crucial.
Right.
Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina.
Yep.
Those are the ones to watch.
And within those states,
Yeah.
specific groups of people could be decisive.
Right.
We were talking about Liz Cheney's endorsement and
Yeah.
how it might impact suburban women.
Yeah.
They often decide these close elections.
That's right. And don't forget about the younger voters.
Oh, yeah.
Millennials and Gen Z. They're a growing force in politics.
They are.
Their turnout could really swing things.
For sure. Then there's the question of just overall voter turnout.
Right. Will we see record-breaking numbers, or will people just stay home?
Right. Or will certain groups be more represented than others?
Yeah. All of those things can really change the results.
Okay, so it's a lot to think about.
It is.
And the unexpected can always happen.
Always.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to stay informed.
Yeah.
And to keep having those conversations.
Right, and be ready for whatever comes next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, this isn't just a spectator sport.
Right.
We're all participants in this democracy.
Yes.
Our choices matter.
They do both individually and as a whole.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's encourage our listeners to do more than just follow the news,
Yeah.
to get involved.
Okay.
Volunteer for a campaign. Donate to a cause.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even just have those hard conversations with their friends and family.
Yeah.
It all makes a difference.
Well said. Before we send our listeners off to do their civic duty, I
Okay.
want to leave them with a final thought. We've been talking about how Trump's past actions and comments,
Yeah.
even things that don't seem related to like actual policies,
Right.
have come up again in this election.
Yep.
Like the lawsuit with the Central Park Five and
Yeah.
his remarks about Arnold Palmer.
It's crazy how those things are coming back now.
Right. They feel like echoes from a different time, but they're affecting things today.
Yeah. And it brings up this whole question of character. You know,
Yeah.
are voters thinking about whether these things make him fit for office?
It's complex.
It is. It's like they're trying to be psychologists.
Right.
Analyzing his actions to see what they mean for the presidency.
It's tough to know what to make of it.
Exactly.
So with the election just days away,
yeah,
how much will all this actually matter to voters?
that's the big question.
Could these things about Trump's past actually sway people?
It's hard to say for sure,
Yeah.
but they could definitely influence those who haven't decided yet.
Right.
Or even give some people second thoughts.
So like someone who was leaning towards Trump might change their mind.
Exactly. Think of it like each of these events is making waves,
Okay.
and we're just waiting to see where those waves end up.
It's like each voter is weighing everything.
Yeah.
The policies, the promises.
And the past.
Exactly. And these last-minute things could tip the scales for someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They might just solidify what people already think about Trump.
Right.
Or they might make some people reconsider.
And in a close race like this,
Yeah.
even a small change could be huge.
Absolutely.
We've talked about a lot in this deep dive.
We have.
Lawsuits and shifting alliances.
Yeah.
A close race, the power of celebrity.
And all the baggage from the past.
It really shows how American politics can change so fast.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
It's important to stay informed
Always.
and to participate.
Right. Vote your voice.
Exactly. It all makes a difference.
That's right.
So to our listener,
Yeah.
keep learning, keep thinking about these things.
Stay involved.
And stay curious. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.